Our journey to install the agent begins by going to Manage Appliances, right-selecting the appliance and going Configure Appliance. A new browser tab will open. On this browser tab, go to Agent Management and then select the agent that you wish to download. In this case, I'm downloading the Windows agent, the Win32. Now that we've downloaded the agent, we need to copy it to the host that we wish to install it on. In this case, I've put the agent onto a shared drive. You will need to run it as administrator. Select Yes. Select where you want to install the agent to. Always ensure you change this setting from Without Change Tracking Driver to With Change Tracking Driver. The default is Without. I like to select the Add Windows Firewall rule to ensure that there are no firewall problems on the Windows Server itself. Finally, press Install. At the completion of the install, a secret key will be presented to you. It's very important that you note this key down because if you don't, you will need to regenerate it. So I like to grab it and do a Control-C just to make sure that I've got it. And then I hit Next and hit Finish. Finally, I like to confirm that everything actually installed correctly. And I do have another reason why I'm taking you here. So if we go to the Services panel, first up, head down to G for Google. And have a look for the Google Cloud Backup and DR agent, you can see it's running, and the Google Cloud Backup and DR CBT agent, you can see it's running. If you only see one service, that means you did not install the change block tracking driver. Now, what was my other reason for bringing you here? It's because I want you to see the state of Microsoft iSCSI Initiator. By default, it's set to manual. What we want to do is we want to start the service. And we want to change the properties so that it starts automatically. This is one way that you could do this. The other way you could have done this is by going and literally typing iSCSI and hitting that there, in which case you would have seen that the iSCSI was not automatically started, and do you want to do that? Either way, I've now confirmed that my Google agent is installed and that my Microsoft iSCSI Initiator is running and on automatic. Having installed and configured the agent, the next thing I want to do is to run discovery. And before I can do that, if I go to Manage Hosts, one of the things that I'll note is that the host needs to have a certificate status of valid. At the moment, the certificate status is NA. So what I need to do is right select and edit, scroll down to Backup and DR Agent Settings, and paste in the secret. Note, before you hit save, consider, can the backup and recovery appliance connect to the host on port 5106? One way you can ensure that is if you have a firewall rule that allows the IP address of the backup and recovery appliance, which is coming in on 10.0.2, allow it to get to port 5106 on any relevant host. Once you've done that, we can safely hit save. If you get a success message, select OK and validate the certificate status is valid. You'll note that the OS release field will also be populated because the agent connection will have been established. At this point, we're ready to go backup and recover backup. Select SQL Server. Select the host that we wish to run discovery on. Select Next. We can now select the instance. If you wish to protect databases within the instance, we can do that separately. In this example, I'm happy to back up the entire instance. In which case, I will select the instance and choose an action of Apply Backup Plan. The backup plan is my database backup plan, and the profile is the profile that defines the appliance and the bucket where the on-vault logs will be placed. I select Next, I select Next, I select Finish, and my backup plan will be applied. I get the green tick of success. I can now wait for my first job to run. If I want to manually run a job, I can go to App Manager Applications, find the SQL Server instance that I'm interested in, right select, go Manage Backup Plan, select the snapshot policy, and choose either DB or DP plus logs, and then do a Run Now. This is known as running an on-demand job. I can then go to Monitor Jobs and monitor the run status of the job until it succeeds. Once the job has succeeded, I'll be able to go to Application Manager Applications, right select the application, and access the backups. The other thing that I could do in Manage Backup Plans is I could choose to include or exclude specific databases from the instance. That way I could back up specific databases individually and apply different backup plans to them. One other thing that's worth being aware of is that the Google Cloud Backup and DR agent, when it runs as the local service system account. Now, this is significant because if you're using Microsoft SQL Server, it effectively is running as NT Authority System. One of the things you can do to make your life a little easier is that if you go to the properties of NT Authority System and go to the server roles, select sysadmin, and this will guarantee that your agent will have the authority that it needs to do most tasks. You may see some unexpected errors if you do not select this, or if you do not give the agent the right user to perform SQL Server administration.